What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 165 of the TASTYFLIX, our weekly podcast where we talk about random things in gaming. My name's Seth, and joining me today, of course, is Chevy. Chevy, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're stoked about having a long conversation about all the topics we have to talk about on this TASTYCast. And how are you feeling about how TASTYFLIX is going in terms of our continued review series of Demon Slayer, where we've done 12 episodes now. If you want to go check that out, make sure to check it out. Link down below.
I'm enjoying it. It'd be nice if one of these days we could, sit down long enough to get through a little more than 4 episodes. Obviously, a behind the scenes thing there.
Well, the 4 episodes works for me just because 4 episodes is a lot to edit at once, but it's a maximum amount that I can do that I feel okay with. But we were kind of doing it intermittently, and now I've decided we got to do it at least once a week. So I think we will start kind of flying through the series a lot faster.
One, I don't necessarily mean in a editing sense. I just mean in a getting them recorded sense, and then you could edit them at whatever pace you want. But
although the recording process has been a lot of fun because we literally just turn it on, start watching it, and then we just do the review right after.
Well, and the thing I'm thinking too is if you had it, we could then obviously move on to another series a little sooner too.
Yeah, my plan is to do the first season and then try out some other things. If there's ever anything that's like short, like an anime movie or something like that, or even a movie that we wanted to watch, we just knock that out too. But
okay.
But as for a series, my goal is to complete at least the first season of Demon Slayer, and then move on to maybe another season of another show or continue season 2.
Yeah.
So I would like to get caught up on season 2 before you said season 3 is coming out.
Yes.
Yeah. So that'd be cool.
Yeah. That would be cool. There's also, and obviously if anyone has suggestions on something you'd like us to watch as well.
Yeah. Like anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be an anime, a movie, we're down. So requests are welcome.
Yeah.
And subscribe to TASTYFLIX. Links down below. We got 14 subscribers. We could use more for sure.
Yeah. But I do have a couple. I have a small list of animes that I think you would enjoy. And then there are new ones coming out all the time that I put on my list and I just don't have time to get to, but it would force me to get to those as well. So
yeah, we'll have to knock them out as we go. I'm definitely on a strict one anime.
No, for sure.
At a time thing outside of movies. If they're like an independent, singular movie or maybe a movie series, I'd be down to watch those at the same time. But
yeah.
I couldn't see myself watching a season of this anime and this anime at the same time because I got to fucking keep up with all the shit. So, but overall, you've been enjoying going through, even though you've watched these episodes before and reviewing them with me, essentially just listening to my reaction to it and putting in your input.
Yeah, it's hard for me to actually talk about it because I know what's happening in the show.
Yeah.
So, I want you to experience it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't suggest things I wouldn't be willing to watch a second time.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless I just thought you would like it, even though I don't, which
And what you could just recommend to me, I'll watch it and review it. So you don't even have to be there for that if you didn't want to be. But yeah, at least coming back to it, I know you're at least enjoying it to the point where you can watch it again. So yeah. And watching it so far, I get it. So if you're curious about that, like I said, 12 reviews are out already, 12 episodes. And we got a movie review over there. I want to get more of those out. And reactions, that's been hard for me just because something will come up. I'm like, I don't really care too much about that trailer. So that'll be as they come and gauged based off my interest. So we'll see. So check that out if you're curious. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that real quick on the show. All right, so typically with every TASTYCast, we talk about what we've been playing. We're going to do that in a sec. But Chevy, we've talked about Ubisoft quite a bit on the channel lately. They've been kind of quiet. I don't know why they'd be so quiet lately.
Here they sell themselves.
Yeah, that is the thing I keep hearing is they are priming themselves for sale. Maybe Elon can buy them too. Anyway, So yeah, we're eventually getting a Splinter Cell after years and years of requests and people being angry about what they are putting out. They all of a sudden were like, we're working on it. They've stopped working on Breakpoint, which I didn't know they planned on keep working on that, but they stopped. Okay. They've abandoned the NFT project of that game, but have been clear about they're not done with NFTs. Hyperscape, you guys remember that? I don't know if anybody does. That was a thing. And then, yeah, Assassin's Creed's doing its thing. So, yeah, Ubisoft has a bright future, apparently. But recently, a game that was on the NVIDIA leaks list called Project Q. If you guys are curious what's on the NVIDIA leaks list, I actually did a whole episode where I went through the whole fucking list, or at least the highlights of it, and discuss everything that's on that list, everything's been confirmed, everything that hasn't been confirmed. So if you're curious about what's on that list, including Project Q, check that out. It was leaked. It was leaked, and there's video of it. We'll watch that. But then right after the leak, Ubisoft came out and confirmed that Project Q exists. And yeah, so we'll go with the confirmation first, and then we'll go with the leak. So Ubisoft via Twitter was like, so we heard you heard ... shrug emoji, introducing codename Project Q, a team battle arena letting players truly own the experience. The game is in early development and we will keep testing. So for now, all you can do is register for upcoming tests. We have a picture here. Let's see if it shows up on here. Pretty good. Pretty good. Where we see a very colorful looking game with very cartoony looking characters. And then we scroll down a little bit and they continue saying, by the way, this is not a battle royale. So apparently they're already anti-battle royale in the sense of like perception. Continuing, they say the game will feature a variety of PvP modes with one single goal in mind: fun. We don't have plans to add NFTs to this game. You can find out more by registering and taking part in the upcoming tests. The sign-up page has been added. Thanks for your interest. It's funny because I saw them post this originally with the Battle Royale part, and I, including myself and other people, were all just flipping shit for NFT stuff. And then this thing popped up where it says we don't plan on adding NFTs. So they're active about trying to fight against that perception. I just thought the wording where you can truly own the experience was bad wording for a company who has been pushing NFTs. My brain is instantly like, you can own the experience. I don't like that. So we'll talk about that in a sec. Let's check out the leak real quick and see what the game even looks like. And then we'll talk about what we think of this. Okay. So this is Project Q leak via someone named Player IGN. So I don't know who that is. Video gameplay of Ubisoft's new upcoming innovative and modern PvP battle arena game. Mode: Showdown, Battle Royale of 4 teams of duos. Mode: Battle Zone, reach 100 control points in 4v4, heroes, weapons, abilities, skills, and 3 wonders. So quite a bit of stuff going on here. Here's the video. Hopefully it shows up for everybody watching. You can kind of see it. I can't really full screen it here. So we see a bunch of interesting items. They're not even guns. They're almost like Smash Bros. Items. Like anybody listening, it showed like Icarus wings, some kind of like orb with a flower in liquid, and a big hammer as items it seems like you can pick from. This is Showdown, be the last team standing. You can definitely tell this is early like alpha footage. Unless this is what the game looks like. That guy used some kind of like those Icarus wings. That seems like he was able to get up high. This guy's just around jumping. Running around. Able to run on rooftops. Apparently this guy really likes to just jump around. Using some kind of fireworks box as a projectile. So you can definitely tell it's aimed for like everybody. Because he's not like shooting them.
Yeah.
Seems like a heal he just threw on the ground. Green circle. And his teammates are kind of running around pursuing somebody in a courtyard area. Guy's Graphics are pretty minimal. Guys running out the hammer, swinging. And that's the whole video. Yeah. And before we talk about this and what we think of this and what we think Ubisoft's trying to do with this, I just want to remind people, and I talked about this in the episode, and we've talked about this on a prior Tastecast, the NVIDIA leaks list isn't missing.
Yeah.
Project Q is on there. Here it is. So makes me, it always comes back to, I'm wondering about that Final Fantasy IX remake.
Yeah.
Because that one just kind of blows my mind that they would, I'm sorry they wouldn't do like 8 or 10 first. 10 for sure. I can't believe that wouldn't be the first one.
10 is definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah, 100%.
Or even 6.
Yeah, 6 would be amazing. But yeah, 9, which I'm happy. I like 9, but some people didn't. So I'm just like, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's a strange choice.
Yeah. So anyway, just kind of wanted to throw out there again. NVIDIA leaks, they don't miss apparently. So what do you think about this? What do you think they're going for here? And does it look interesting to you?
No, it doesn't look interesting to me. But
okay.
I mean, my general impression is it is probably the safest and most generic looking game I've seen in a while.
Which seems to be what Ubisoft's MO now is.
Yeah, they definitely want to make sure it could be sold in every market imaginable to all age groups. It has bright, vibrant colors. So they definitely. I don't want to get too into that. I'm just not a huge fan of the visual style of it. And then, it seems like they're kind of like going for the people who maybe, because Overwatch I know is in like kind of a dead state right now while we wait for Overwatch 2. Mm-hmm. Plus, there's still people salty about things going on that went on with Blizzard, and the way they're still handling their games. So they might be trying to reach for some of that audience with like the heroes and the color palette stuff. And they're not the first people to do it, but they are the big name doing it,
including Fortnite.
Yes, and then the Fortnite visual style and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't. It doesn't really scream like inspiration in any way to me. It screams by me to me.
It in a weird way, and we only saw the alpha footage. I'm assuming. I hope that's alpha footage. It seems like it doesn't know exactly what it's trying to be.
Yeah. Which
is also what I felt like when I played Hyperscape. Yeah. Also what I feel like when they're taking Tom Clancy properties and making free-to-play fucking battle royales out of them. Or one battle royale, but like you get my point. Yeah. Or like trying to sell us NFTs while saying, hey, fuck the games you want. Like it really just, I mean, this game could be like amazing. It could be like I could play and go, holy fuck, Project Q's dope.
Sure.
And Project Q's definitely not going to be its name, but it just at this point it's like this is what I expect from fucking Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Is to just go like, will you buy this? It reminds me of fucking when Radical Heights came out. Cliffy B's last ditch effort to try and like make enough money after Lawbreakers failed, which sucked because I thought Lawbreakers was pretty fun. Wasn't amazing, but it was pretty fun. But it reminds me of that. And then I'm hearing all these rumors about like fucking Ubisoft is like getting ready to like start thinking about taking offers. And I'm like, in one way, I'm like, that makes sense because it seems like you guys overnight decided you don't have ideas. I don't know where the fuck that came from out of nowhere. But also, like, liberate these fucking Tom Clancy games at the very least, man. Like, fucking, like, sell those to somebody who can actually make something out of that. It's fucking crazy. Anyway, I'm not trying to get on a rant on Ubisoft. We're talking about Project Q here. So, what were we saying?
Yeah, well, and then I was just going to say, it could be a surprise as well. Because, I mean, like, when Fortnite was first coming out, it was what is referred to now as what is that version called?
Save the World Edition.
Save the World Edition,
which was fun.
But it also felt like they didn't really have a solid idea yet. They were kind of figuring it out as they went, and then it turned into what it is today. Obviously, which obviously it's not like gaining, like it was, but is still a massively played game.
Well, they actually pulled some people back after they introduced the no build mode. I almost thought about trying it again. because that's when I stopped.
Well, I saw a lot of people jump in.
Yeah.
When that popped up.
Yeah,
For sure.
I'm curious about it. I haven't played it. I don't know if I'm actually gonna fucking play it, but
Well,
I am curious.
I think that was a huge turnoff for a lot of people was they didn't want to have to turn into a construction company when they got shot at.
Yep.
So, anyways, yeah. Unless something changes down the line, this is a very sterile looking game and doesn't seem to offer anything that screams unique to me, and just seems to be a hodgepodge of other ideas in a safe blanket to hopefully make some money, I assume. So
Yeah, so I got a lot of thoughts on this. First off, the colorful palette reminds me of every single free-to-play game that's trying to get everyone to play it. It's boring at this point. It's sterile, like you said, and it's kind of obvious in its ambitions. It looks like it's going after Overwatch in style, obviously not in gameplay, and it looks like it's going after Fortnite in a community sense way. It seems like this is Ubisoft's attempt at making a big community game like Fortnite for themselves. But from what I see so far, kind of lacks an identity. This idea that it's going to be a team battle arena, that's a very ambiguous, that's a very vague thing to say. And to say the players truly own the experience and it's going to have all these different modes tells me that when they say it's not a battle royale, doesn't mean it won't have a battle royale in it. Yeah. In that leak, it said there's a 4v4v4v4 or whatever battle royale in it. So this sounds like it's literally Ubisoft trying to make kind of like what Fortnite's been doing. Fortnite started as Save the World Edition, turned into the battle royale, and then they do events, and then they want to do more with it. That's not just that. It sounds like they want to get in on this, almost like it's not like the metaverse, but it's like a online communal experience type game. Exactly. That's exactly what it sounds like. But also because it doesn't have any like hard ideas that seem like completely, like this is why we're bringing the game to the table. It does feel like a last ditch effort, not to imply that Ubisoft needs a last ditch effort, but that's what it feels like. If you're like completely competent, you're doing fine, and you could make plenty of awesome games, but you put something out like this, it just doesn't look right. It looks kind of off, especially following all the shit that they've been releasing. So it's worrying in that regard. So yeah, visual and what seems to be the ambition of the game, in my opinion, is worrying. But also like the item roster kind of reminds me of like Smash Bros. In a weird way. Like those items might be all over the map, or you're picking them in certain modes. I don't know, but like they're definitely going for, and I'll give them points for it's not just a shooter. That's cool. Yeah. I like different ideas and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff is just like, this is the fly ability. This is a hammer to hit people up close. This is the heal ability. This is I don't remember what the fuck else there was in there, but it feels like all these things that are in other games just thrown against the wall, and they're just going like fucking, and they're doing playtests and stuff, so it makes sense. Like they're probably like, do you guys like any of this? Like any of this catch your fancy? Like, and it just seems so. It just feels desperate. It's fucking weird, especially when we were warned a while back. Ubisoft was like, we're gonna start prioritizing online games. And it's like, you already have online games. But they're like, that's not enough. And so we're seeing all these attempts. We got whatever the Tom Clancy game is. It's like Ghost Recon something. Everybody wants a new Ghost Recon. They're like, we're making a battle royale. And then they delayed it when people bitched about it. They tried Hyperscape. No one gave a fuck about that. And now this is coming. Like, it just seems like they're like, when they said they're going to make online games, they're really fucking working on it.
Yeah.
They're trying to find something that's going to stick. But the problem is, all the things Ubisoft's known for, all the fucking great ideas they've had, they're abandoning those to make these generic fucking experiences that they're hoping fucking kids will just like get attached to. Like, I get the money aspect of Fortnite and other online games, Apex, stuff like that, is like, those are lucrative fucking games.
Yeah.
I get that. But like, unless you have the ideas that made those games fucking popular, don't even fucking attempt it. Hyperscape was just a fucking generic battle royale that had some verticality and a fucking ball suit you could put on. it wasn't enough. There's no characteristics to it that were interesting. So anyway, that's where I stand with the game pretty much. It could come out. It could be awesome. I would love that to be the case. But what I'm seeing so far, it feels pretty much how I've described at this point. It really feels like Ubisoft is trying to make all these little pet projects and see if any of them can create a overnight community that's going to start raking in money without actually having anybody who's like, it feels like they got all these people just watching other games and going like, we could do something like that. But they don't have people sitting there going like, I have a fucking awesome idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to go over real quick again, just the things they said though. The mode showdown battle royale of 4 teams of duos.
So 8 people.
Yeah. So it's like a little micro battle royale, but that also sounds like just like a 4v4v4 deathmatch type thing. So this is before they came out and said they're not doing a battle royale. So this person probably should interpret it that way, but it also could be. And then mode battle zone, reach 100 control points in 4v4 heroes. So essentially a micro battlefield. So it really does seem like they're going to go for whatever. Again, I feel like this is going to have a shitload of modes, a shitload of ability skills, all that stuff like that, and then maybe an editor for people to make their own modes just so they can hope to create a fucking community that will just be there playing. And it might work, but just visually, it's forgettable. It's just generic as fuck. Like I'm with you and I'm a little lenient about it. Let's take a break from the cartoon shit and we can come back to it a couple years from now. But every time I see a game like this, I know what their ambitions are.
Yeah.
I know what they're going for. And it's fucking boring. I didn't care about like, well, they don't, it's not original. What is really anymore? Not a whole lot. It's just boring. I don't like to be fucking bored. So anyway, it's a boring visual style and it's fucking cliche at this point. It's like when cell shading first came out and everybody started fucking trying to make cell shaded games. I was like, dude, stop. Nowadays they do it so fucking well, like it doesn't even matter anymore. But for a while there, they all looked the same.
Yeah,
and it was fucking annoying. So anyway, I don't know if it said it or not, but I can guarantee this is going to be free to play. Did it say that? Battle Arena, truly, yeah. I guarantee this game's gonna be free to play. This is gonna have microtransactions, I'm assuming, of course.
Oh, I'm sure.
They said they don't have any NFTs planned, but that means nothing because I can say I don't have them planned right now, and then 5 minutes later I just planned it. So that doesn't mean shit to me. They could definitely implement that later, and yeah. At this point, I really don't trust Ubisoft, which really sucks because I used to defend them more than anyone when it comes to like the big three. But again, big three's over. Ubisoft might get bought out at this point, and if they don't, well, who gives a fuck about what they're making anymore? And EA's just kind of destroying all their fucking brands as well. So big three at the very least, but AAA it seems is struggling and going to have to get out of the way of all these smaller developers who are going to have access to Unreal 5. So who needs fucking AAA?
Well, and in-house studios.
Yeah.
So
exactly. That's where it really shines. Yeah, it's like the in-house studios of like big companies, like Sony, Xbox, stuff like that, Nintendo, of course, and then the crazy amounts of indie developers and the crazy amounts of prestigious developers who have left other things to make their own small companies who have all this like, knowledge of game development. Yeah. Like it's really, we've talked about it before multiple times. It really feels like there's a huge shift happening in gaming right now. And I think with Unreal 5, we talked about that last Tastecast, it's only going to make making AAA games fucking easier. So it's pretty wild.
For sure.
And this Project Q feels like it's just kind of supporting how I feel about that. So, yeah. Any more thoughts on Project Q? Any ambitions of wanting to play it in the future? All right. All right. Well, let us know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think of Project Q? What do you think they're going to do with it? What do you think their ambitions for this is? Are you interested in it? Are you not interested in it? if you are interested in it, don't feel weird about expressing that. I want to hear positives about it. Where are people coming from? If you're not into it, let me know as well. And do you think it's gonna be free to play? Do you think there's gonna be NFTs? Do you think it's gonna be a microtransaction game? And what would you like to see from Ubisoft at this point? I don't really want to see anything from them until they do like a hard fucking flip, because at this point it's like when Square Enix was in their like slump. I was like, I don't want a Final Fantasy VII from them right now.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ubisoft right now. I'm like, I don't want a Splinter Cell from you right now, because I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do. It's gonna be open world. It's gonna be fucking The Division. Yeah. So anyway, let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to Project Q. All right, let's jump into what we've been playing. Let's start with you. What have you been playing?
I played a little bit of Godfall. I can't talk about it, but come back soon to hear our impressions of that.
Yeah, quick reminder, Godfall's Game of the Month was picked by Sarah. We'll be talking about that this weekend, or maybe Monday of next week, early next week, but most likely this weekend. And then we got Slay the Spire, Hood Outlaws and Legends, and SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is our Plus Club games. We'll be talking about those on Saturday, so come back for that. Anyway.
Yeah. Outside of that, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14. They, updated the game. They added, PvP. They've redone the PvP system in the game. They have the ultimate version of the raid coming out probably when you guys are watching this. And then, just more story. This is the first time they got to do story since and I think I talked about this last Tastecast, but just kind of a quick recap on it. The story ended with the Endwalker expansion of over the last 10 years of this main story they've been doing. So now they're going to start leading us down into a new adventure at this point. And so we got the first taste of that finally. So I got to do that. Had a lot of fun with it. Was surprised with some of the stuff I saw, and they again made some major nods to old Final Fantasies while doing it. So it's
surprised in a good way.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The new 24-man raid is super fun, and I love the song in it.
Big surprise.
Yeah. Actually, in the last expansion, the 24-man was the Nier stuff, and though it was fun content and the music was awesome, I was a little disappointed that it didn't incorporate itself into Final Fantasy 14, but it just existed as Nier, but you played as your 14 character.
Yeah.
So that was a little disappointing in that regard. This is actually like connected to 14 and some lore that has existed since 2.0 and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun in that regard. Also it has a very Greek-Roman appearance in all the armor and stuff. So
interesting.
Lots of gold and robes and stuff like that. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, I like that.
What else? Slowed down on our rating because we're adults and people got things to do in their real life. So down to about an hour and a half a week, which is not a lot of time to get much progress done, but we are regularly clearing the first two fights. This last weekend we cleared both as well. We took a break from the third fight and tried out one of the new extreme encounters, though I could tell people were tired because it was getting a little memey in there. We were not making any progress. So definitely different than the original fight, which is kind of crazy because usually they're pretty similar first and then it leads into the changes. This is just like, it's different right off the bat. So it's also a long fight, which for Final Fantasy is going to be over 10 minutes probably, but they usually give you extra rewards for those lengthier fights. So other than that, just doing the PvP, trying to get the they have like a seasons in the game essentially, but there is no external way to boost your progress or get a second line of rewards type of deal, battle pass style. It is in game only, and the season only has honestly 5 items in it. The rest of it's like a currency that you can use to purchase stuff, and that currency doesn't go away after the season. So they really want to make sure that you don't feel any FOMO for not doing it, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, for sure.
They also added an adventure plate system, so you can make like a calling card for your character, and then when you do the new PvP mode, your face that you made for that calling card shows up with your teams and stuff like that. And you unlock more of those plates in PvP, which is really
So
cool.
kind of like Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yep. This is what it reminded me of. Minus the fact that you get to like put your character and pose them and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Adds a little personal flair. Playing with random
it's
people.
really funny when you get into a match and you can tell the people who have the default ones who just don't care, and then the people who are like expressing their character, and you can look at them and go, oh yeah, no, I believe that character. You know, it's really interesting. The community is really good about that kind of stuff anyways, and they just gave them more tools to do it. So
Yeah, I believe that.
yeah.
With the community, not the tools thing. I'm glad they gave them that, though.
Oh, for sure. Other than that, I'm just kind of waiting for the housing system is broken right now. We were going to attempt to buy a larger house for the free company or guild if you're from other games. But the lottery system that they implemented isn't communicating properly with the server and didn't give out houses to people. So they're fixing that right now.
Interesting.
Yes, I'm waiting for that to come back so we can put a bid in on a medium house and cross fingers for getting one. And then the side stories that are coming out with the future patches as well. So their comedy one called, I think it's The Adventures of Hildebrand or something like that, is returning. Didn't exist last expansion. They took a break from it because they wanted to feel old. They wanted to be inspired to do it, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then another one called, or has something to do with Tataru, which is a character that's with you throughout the entire game. But because of the way Endwalker ends, it makes sense that, she would have her own thing now. So I'll keep it there. Yeah, that's pretty much it in that game. The PvP is actually quite fun. There is some metas forming, which of course in competitive gameplay happens fast.
It's gonna happen.
But I think the overall feeling is it feels good. It's a good starting point. Now balance changes, stuff like that can happen. People are putting up with the cheese groups that are being formed and stuff like that. And you can't form static groups or custom parties for the new mode. You have to queue up solo for it. So you can't like force your way to diamond or crystal rank, for example. So yeah. But I would recommend. But my whole point with that was if you're like, you didn't want to play Final Fantasy 14 because it didn't have PvP, it does now, and a lot of people are playing it. It's a good time to try it out. So a lot of people are doing PvP right now. So.
Yeah, it's cool to see they're even doing that, because that was a game I always didn't want them to put too much work into PvP, because what they do and what they're known for is not that.
Yeah.
But if they ever got to a safe place where they could start working on PvP, I would want them to do that. And, Endwalker seems to be a good place to work on other things as they formulate where the game's going. And so, there's a bunch of people out there who's not going to be interested in PvP. And some people who don't think they're going to be, but then they'll play it and they'll probably enjoy it. But there's a bunch of people who are into PvP who just didn't have a place for that in that game. And this mode, even though it doesn't sound like a big thing, it sounds like a good step in the right direction. It sounds like they're pretty dedicated to trying this out and seeing where it goes, and most likely adding to it.
Yeah, for sure. And I really hope they keep expanding, especially on the adventure plates. I think that's been the biggest surprise for a lot of people. We knew it was coming, but we didn't know like how it was going to function. Mm-hmm. And it's actually they did a really good job with that system. Like it's really impressive. So. And it's like it lends itself to just have unlockables for it, so it's like perfect for that. So it's a good way to add more content in the game, and the art team gets to go nuts then. So
yeah, sounds cool.
the other thing I was gonna mention too is the 2.0 dungeons got reworked. So the original game, all the dungeons got reworked to modernize them. Some examples are there was one dungeon where there's like green goo all over the floor. Do you remember that one at all? You step in it, slow your movement speed down.
Yeah.
That goo's gone. No more
Really?
slowing your movement speed down. Yeah.
Interesting.
They want you to just be able to get through it. There was the manor, like the mansion you go through, and then after the second boss, a lot of people would like teleport back to the entrance.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Yeah, they put a teleporter there so people don't have to like guess why everyone disappeared if they're new players. They can
That makes sense, yeah.
click on the teleporter.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing for me when I did it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know where people are.
The final 2 dungeons of the original game as well. It used to be 2 really long dungeons with unskippable cutscenes. It is now split, and they were all 8-man content.
Is that the mechanical place? It's like sci-fi looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it is 2 smaller dungeons that are 4-man content instead, with bosses that have modernized mechanics.
Oh, interesting.
And then the last 2 parts of it are split into a solo fight and a trial fight. So 2 boss fights got ripped out and turned into different things. So then now it's 4 parts. So they're shorter.
That's interesting because like I remember a single fucking thing you're talking about, and that one in particular with having 8 people and also having unskippable cutscenes, it felt like a burden to do that fucking dungeon.
It's an hour long.
Yeah.
It was an hour long.
Like it took way too fucking long, and trying to coordinate with 8 people, there'd always be like 2 people trying to tell everybody what to do, and some people just like run around doing fucking dumb shit.
Most people don't even talk anymore.
And
They
then
just run.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's, I mean, I'm pretty good about if I see people just run, I'm like, they know where they're going, I just follow them. But, but yeah, and then all these cutscenes where I'm just like sitting there on my phone waiting for them to fucking end. So I'm glad they addressed that.
Yeah. And I've done all of them except for the solo fight now, as my level 90 character. Obviously it levels me down to 50 for him, but, and I was actually surprised at how modern the fights felt. They're very forgiving because they're meant to teach you the game still.
Yeah, still early on.
But the mechanics are a lot more complicated than they were originally, which is really nice. A good example of that is like the last fight. Used to just sit there and like use moves from all the primals you fight throughout the game, and then these little robots would come out and just fly around and shoot beams across the arena. Mm-hmm. Doesn't do that anymore. Now what happens is like the bots will show up, but they'll be in like patterns, and it'll do the yellow lines on the ground now to teach you, don't stand in the yellow stuff, and they'll be in more like of an organized pattern instead of just randomly shooting beams everywhere. And then the boss will be in a phase like this is the Titan phase, and it does that stuff, and then like a cinematic in battle cinematic thing happens, and the Titan phase goes away, and then it goes to the next phase, and then it goes to the next phase, and you can't just blow through it anymore because it's scaled better. Because what happened with the old stuff is adjustments have been made so much over the years that you just blew through it. The challenge was absolutely gone. And not that there was a lot of challenge.
My experience while I was bum rushing through there is fucking just walking through shit.
Yeah, you can't do that now. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun. I want to try all the other dungeons because I know they streamlined a bunch of them. I think like a good example is one of them had like multiple places, parts where like there were 2 paths available, but they all led to the same place anyway, so they just shaved off the second route, and now it's just a path to go through instead. And then the big one is, for me at least, is there was a place called Copperbell Mines, and the first boss, you fought a bunch of little ads that died in 2 hits while you waited for the big boss to jump down, and it was like you just were standing around waiting, and then the big guy would jump down, everyone would pile on him, kill him, and then run off. That was the whole fight. All those waves of waiting for him are gone. He's just standing in the room waiting, and he has his own mechanics now. And then the next boss is a giant slime that you couldn't fight. The tank just had to sit there, and then eventually a plunger would activate. You'd get a bomb to spawn, and then you'd have to drag the slime over to the bomb. The bomb would blow up. It'd split into more slimes.
Yeah, I remember that.
The DPS couldn't do anything, though. And occasionally an ad would show up, and that's what the DPS would do. Now you just fight the slime. It's just a fight.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you could tell they wanted to make the old stuff feel like the new stuff. So
Just modernize it.
so good on them for that. Some more stuff to throw out there for that. I had a lot more to say about that than I thought I did. Sorry.
That's cool.
So, outside of 14, playing Elden Ring still. I took a bit of a break from it because I was going pretty hard for a while. For me, I should say. I still haven't beat that fucking game.
You're still playing it though, so that's you going hard.
Yeah. Been playing it the last couple days. Finally got past. I'm gonna try to keep this kind of spoiler free. Past the capital city and into the snow now. Like freshly into the snow. I'm just there now. Man, I'm not to give out too much now, but I'd be blown away if this is not Game of the Year this year.
Well, in any like official capacity, it's for sure winning Game of the Year, at least at like the Game Awards. But for like personal pick, I think a large amount of people are going to be picking this Game of the Year.
Yeah,
it's too good of a game.
There's too much to it. It's huge and just full of content.
They didn't fuck around making that game. Yeah.
So, year's not over, but it's a phenomenal game.
The only game that I think could even contend with it, and we haven't heard anything about it, is fucking God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And gameplay wise, I think Ragnarok will be awesome, but mostly I think the story would be the biggest reason for it to bypass Elden Ring, because Elden Ring is just solid in every fucking way.
Yeah, with a couple like minor things here and there.
Sure.
But yeah, I can't remember the last time I checked today. I'm at 140 hours gameplay. Like I don't play games like that anymore. So
it's one of the rare instances where it's like one of my favorite games, like the last like 10 years. Like I think it's like a great game. Yeah. Not like a great game. Like that's a good game. I think it's like one of the greats. I think it's a great game. Yeah, like it's really fucking good. So yeah, I'm glad I finished it so I could play other games, but I still am thinking about it. And the amount of people who are still talking about, the amount of people who still like ask me like, are you going to play Elden Ring again? I'm like, yeah, there's just a lot of games that came out and it took all my fucking attention when I was playing it.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my current problem. There's a bunch of games I still would like to get to, but I know if I start hopping games too much, it's going to get put on the back burner, and I don't want to do that. So.
Yeah, no, I had to commit to it. And I had to just only play it and beat it. And even though I want to still play it, that I finished it, I was like, okay, I can like allow myself to play other things. I was able to finish Ghostwire Tokyo and play other games, so it's been beneficial. But we got a good couple months drought to take care of all that stuff. So
for sure. Yeah. What else? I think. Oh no, I've been playing a little bit of Minecraft as well. I hopped back in. So, was having a conversation with someone who plays on the server I have, and he wanted me to go check something out. So I hopped in and went and checked it out, and then all of a sudden, just being in the game, I got inspired all of a sudden and started building some stuff, and I've just been in there doing that thing. So.
Games like that are real easy to fall into that trap.
Well, I took a long break because I just had run out of things I wanted to do in it. So I'm glad I have some stuff to work on now again. Because I mean, I pay for the server. I want to make use of it. So yeah, that's it. So I've been playing.
All right, my list is very short, but I think I got some games that for some reason I thought I talked about in the last episode, but I think I pretty much only talked about Ghostwire Tokyo last Tasty Cast. So if I talk about games I played before, well, I played them, so I'm going to talk about them. But I'm going to try and talk about them in a context that at least one, so I can explain a bit what it is. But speaking of games that you pay for a server for, played some Ark. I've probably played on your server more than anybody at this point. I had this long list of podcasts I need to catch up on. So a game like that's perfect for that. So I've been playing Ark a little bit, which was inspired by when we played Ark on PS5 for Plus Club. If you're curious about our review on that, go check that out. And we all got inspired to go, oh yeah, Ark's fun, but it's better on PC. So You got the server, and I'm playing on there. I spawned. I went back to. We played a long time ago when the game like first came out, and I ran to where we built our original HQ, our base, and I went to the same place, and I'm starting to build a base there. Although I don't think I'm going to commit for too long there. I just wanted to get safe. I'm like under the rocks where we originally had our base, and yeah, I'm gonna formulate a plan from there and move forward. Pretty much have upgraded to the point where I can probably make a rifle now, so kind of gives an idea of where I'm at on the skill tree. There seems like there's a lot more items than I remember on that fucking not skill tree, fucking crafting tree. I would call it, I guess. I was like going through. I was like, "What the fuck is all this, dude?" Like, there's so much to this game. It's crazy. And even though the game, I think the game still looks pretty good, but like, you can definitely tell it's older now, which I think is funny. But it still plays like a good FPS, which is really weird.
It also makes my graphic cards fans like kick on, which I think is kind of funny.
Yeah, I think it's just all the rendering it's doing from far. Like it's not streaming it the same way like more modern games would.
It's only having 2 games: Minecraft with shaders and Ark.
Yeah, those games are fucking demanding, dude. It's amazing they got them to run on consoles. But yeah, been playing Ark a little bit. Really good game to just chill and listen to, especially if you're me and you like to build a lot. I spend a lot of time just chopping trees down. That's how I level primarily. And building and crafting and building and crafting. So been enjoying that. Would like to play with people. So hopefully we can do that at some point. So yeah, Ark. Also played a game called Midnight Ghost Hunt. In case you don't know what that is a game on Steam as of right now. I don't know if it's coming out for console later. It is a 4v4 Ghosts versus Ghostbusters game. I don't remember if I talked about this on the last Tastecast, but maybe you didn't see that Tastecast, so I'll explain it. Essentially, it kind of set up like Rainbow Six Siege, where you have like over a minute as the ghosts to prepare in whatever place you're haunting. You can go into almost any item in the place you're essentially hiding or haunting. Kind of like prop hunt, but not. So the premise of the game is the ghost hunters are going to show up and they're supposed to eliminate all 4 ghosts before midnight, which I think takes like 5 minutes or something like that. So you have 5 minutes to eliminate the ghosts, and at midnight they become supercharged and stronger. And I saw in their patch notes recently they actually made the ghosts a little less strong because if you get like attacked from every direction by the fucking ghosts, you can die pretty quickly in the early phases, even when they're not supercharged. So I'm glad they're taking feedback. So yeah, you got 5 minutes to hunt down the ghosts and kill them before midnight, in which it kind of flips the script and they start hunting you now when they're more empowered. It's kind of set up like Call of Duty, oddly enough, where the ghost hunters have all these weapons, and as you accrue points, you can unlock new weapons, like assault shotgun. There's like a gas flamethrower thing, a little like SMG. There's a hammer. There's all sorts of stuff. And then ghosts and ghost hunters have perks. You get to have one equipped at a time, although one of the perks allows you to have two. Not 2 perks, two main guns. It replaces your utility item. And then, yeah, ghost hunters have a utility item. Ghosts have a haunting item, which is kind of interesting. After you die or get captured, you can still interact with your haunting item. I don't think that's the name of what it is, but it's essentially what it is, where you can interact with objects still, even while you're like to try and help out your team or whatever, or throw your voice, or create cold spots that slow down the ghost hunters. So even if you're out, you can still try and help your dudes as they try to hide and evade the ghost hunters, which kind of reminds me of the Spies versus Mercenaries mode in Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which is one of my favorite modes of all time. But this isn't that good, but it kind of reminds me of that. I like the idea that one team is trying to hide and evade and the other team's trying to hunt them down, but I also like the idea that it's switching it over towards the end. It does need a lot of balancing, and I'm not going to say toxic because I fucking hate that term. I think it's way too vague for shit. But the community's fucking, they're having a good time in the worst way. Every time, anytime teams are able to talk to each other at the end of a match, people are just breathing into the mics as loud as they can, or going, oh, or fucking just going crazy, or saying words that you'll get banned off of any social media platform if you say them. And the game definitely reminds me of the Wild West of voice chat in games from back in the day. So it's probably the worst aspect of the game outside of the the balancing that needs work, but it's still in early access, so they're working on it, which is fine. But the foundation's really cool. I think the game is a really neat premise, and I think it's neat that it's not a asymmetrical 1v4 or 3, but it's a 4v4. It's a team-based game that I think could get competitive if they balanced it enough. But so far, it's a pretty cool idea. I could definitely see this coming to console. And I would loosely recommend it now if you're into early access and you're curious about it. But because the community is a bunch of people fucking around and just acting like it, it makes it hard to really get into the deeper teamwork you could have in this game. There's a lot of stuff you want to communicate with your team, and a lot of people are not doing that. I actually feel bad because every once in a while someone will come in and I'm not talking to anybody because I'm just gonna start talking shit if I have to interact with these people. But someone will come and be like, hey, there's a ghost up here, blah, blah. And then some guy's like just going nuts and shit, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude, it's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty neat. So that's Midnight Ghost Hunt. Check it out. Hopefully in a couple months it will be a little reworked. The community gets a little more dedicated, and it has a brighter future ahead of it. But as of right now, it's a pretty cool idea. I've been enjoying playing off and on. Mostly just trying to unlock all the items to try them all out. I mean, you can try them all out in like a training mode, but it's not the same as in practice. Yeah, and then oddly enough, well, no, I won't go into that just yet. Play a little bit of Godfall. Can't talk about that yet. We'll talk about that this weekend. The new patch is out, though, that adds a bunch of new content. So if you're curious about why we're playing Godfall in the first place, it's because that came out and we wanted to try it out. And yeah, we'll be talking about our impressions of what they've changed with Godfall, which is a game that slowly just becomes more and more of a game you can more easily recommend to people. Because when it came out, I was like, I don't know if I would. I mean, I like it. I don't know if I'd tell anybody to play it, though. And then, let's see. I'm pretty much done with all the Plus Club games at this point, so we will talk about that. Although I want to play Hood with you at some point, do some co-op. Been playing World War Z again. If you don't know what that is, it is a criminally underrated Left 4 Dead style game that I think is almost better than Left 4 Dead at this point. It is a kind of go-to game for me, Sarah, and Josh a lot of times. The game's got cross-play across all platforms, so that's really nice, especially when Josh couldn't play on PC for a little bit because of personal reasons. He was able to play on his PS5. We're able to play on our PCs and have a fun co-op time. The game has like fucking 7 or 8 campaigns that have like 4 maps apiece across the world in Russia, Japan, all sorts of places. Has a bunch of characters. It has like 12 classes that have full skill trees. They unlock perks for each one. And yeah, it's a really, really fun game. I highly recommend it. In fact, I want to throw it on the Game of the Month list. So at some point we can review it because I would love to review it. And yeah, I've been playing... Oh, God, I forgot what it's called. Oh, my God, why can't I remember the name of the class? The class I'm playing is, I want to say... I can't remember the name of it. I always want to call it survivalist because that's pretty much what it does, but the name's way more aggressive. It sounds like really actiony. Essentially, the dude I play has all these perks that keeps him alive. One where if you get grabbed, as soon as you touch the ground, you get back up. So Whereas somebody would typically get pinned, you get back up. It has a cooldown of like a minute and a half, so if you grab it a second time, you're fucked. But that comes in comes in very handy. And a bunch of abilities that make you like take less damage, have more health, stuff like that. So my dude's just overall super survivable, which has been a lot of fun. And I would like to prestige him. The way that works in this game is I think there's like 20 levels per character, and every like 5 levels you get like a dedicated perk that you don't have to decide to spend points on. It's just active, and then 3 rows of like 4 perks apiece, and you have to pick one of each row. And then another dedicated one. When you prestige that class, it unlocks a second row of dedicated perks that you have to pick from. And I think you prestige multiple times. So I've been working on that, and while I'm accruing the currency to be able to prestige that character, I am leveling up Drone Master right now, which essentially is a dude who you can put a drone out. You can modify it so it has a pistol, so it shoots things for you. I like to have it modified so it has a taser because it shocks crowds and stops them. And that seems to be a lot more helpful for me in terms of like if a horde is attacking, I can stop them in their tracks versus the pistol just kind of adds DPS. But I typically don't need help with that. So that's been fun. And yeah, it's overall just an awesome game. Definitely recommend it to everybody who's ever liked a Left 4 Dead style cooperative game. It's also got multiplayer versus, which is a lot of fun. So the game's just fucking solid. Like I can't praise it enough. And yeah, we've been playing that again randomly. I remember a little bit behind the scenes here. We let Sarah, she's been participating in Game of the Month and Plus Club regularly. We let her pick Game of the Month. She picked Godfall, but she told me after she picked that, she was thinking about picking World War Z. I was like, I mean, that would have been cool. And then now we're sitting here playing it all month, and I'm like, could have played that, but Godfall's also a good pick because I can definitely talk about and review the whole game this time around. I think that's all I've been playing. My list is pretty fucking short. I haven't played as much games lately as I would have liked to. I've also been working on music again lately, so that's been taking up some time too, which is really fucking weird. Yeah, that takes a lot of time. So
I keep looking at my not that I'm an artist at all, but I keep looking at my Wacom tablet, and I'm like, I should use that.
Yeah, I just I don't want to waste that opportunity. I'm like feeling creative again. Yeah. I'm like I haven't fucking worked on a music project in like fucking 2 or 3 years. So, and now I have 4 or 5 songs that are feeling like something I can definitely work with and finalize. I have a bunch of projects, but they're all me fucking around until it turns into something. So, but that's beside the point. That's not gaming stuff. Yeah, anything else? All right, let us know in the comments what games have you guys been playing. What games would you recommend? Anything you're really enjoying, anything you're looking forward to soon. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to what you've been playing, what you want to play, and what you think we should be playing. That was a very quick what we've been playing. That's fine. Not every episode needs to be 5 hours long. I don't even know if we've done a 5-hour long. We've done a 24-hour stream before.
The only one.
Yeah. After that, people were like, when you hit 2,000 subs, will you do another one? I'm like, no. If you pay me, I'll think about it. And I don't even want you to do that. I'm just saying it's the only way I probably would do it. Is if I got paid enough. I'd be like, yeah, I'll do a 24-hour stream.
I can barely keep myself awake half a day.
It was rough then, and that was before the events of the last 2 years. I'm fucking tired, man. I'm weathered. Yeah, so we got a couple videos to watch. I'm actually really excited to watch these because it kind of feels a little different than what we've been watching and reacting to and talking about lately. The first video we're going to be watching is the controversial Diablo Immortal, which got a official release date and PC announcement trailer. I'm sure you guys have already heard about this. We have. We've heard about it, but there's a trailer that goes with it, and we're gonna watch it, see what the game looks like, see what they have to say, and discuss what we think about the release date and the PC announcement, which was not ever talked about, but now dropped on us. before we watch this, and I haven't watched this, but I do know obviously about the PC announcement. I'm pretty much on the same page as everybody when it comes to Diablo Immortal. Before watching this, so the idea of a mobile Diablo game is kind of interesting, but also I'm not into mobile games on my phone. And the idea of taking a game like Diablo, which is a deep game full of hours and hours and hours of gameplay and class building and grinding and all that shit, to put that on a phone, and for me to wonder how you're going to get money from me from that, unless it's a premium game, is concerning. Also, this game was announced around the time that Blizzard, their PR was not great and only got worse. So I have a bad taste in my mouth, and it could be unfair when it comes to Diablo Immortal. But I am curious about the PC announcement. Without watching it, I do think it's smart, but we'll discuss that. What are some of your thoughts on Diablo Immortal before we watch this?
Honestly, I don't have a lot of thoughts about the title itself. I do think they're doing something that I think all mobile devs should be doing in the first place, which is putting their games also on PC. As someone who does dabble a little bit in mobile gaming, I don't do a lot of it, but every time I do, I always want to come home and do it on my computer instead if I can. And I usually have to oh my God. I usually have to use an emulator, which is fine, but it doesn't perform as well as if it was natively running on my PC. So, I do think that's smart. I'm glad they're doing that, and I think that people should take note of that and do more of that. The only other examples I can think of off the top of my head is stuff like Genshin has PC versions, so I'm not gonna touch that game either. So,
I do think also it is the ultimate, regardless if this game's good or bad, it's the ultimate fix for the don't you guys have phones?
Well, besides the fact that they are making Diablo 4, but yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm saying that they announced the Diablo and they're like, don't you have phones? Which is a huge gaffe.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, that's fucking ridiculous. Now, even if you don't have a phone, which obviously was never really the case, no one was actually worried about that, you're covered. So in that sense, it was smart of them to do that.
For sure. And the genre itself does work on phones. I've played these type of games on phones. So that's not the question of whether they could do it or not either. They definitely can. So I am obviously a little curious what their take as a marger studio making a mobile version of these is versus a lot of the ones I've seen were made by mobile developers. So not to say mobile developers don't rake in the cash, because they do, but they don't make games the same way. So
yeah, we haven't seen there's a lot of Diablo-like games on mobile.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the people who make Diablo make that though.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something I'm curious about in terms of the quality of what we're going to get in a game like that. I hope they value their IP enough to not fuck around with it too much. I would hope.
After what their official Twitter was doing today, I doubt it. So,
I also remember too that when this was originally announced, Diablo 4 wasn't.
Yeah.
And so that was another big reason why people were really upset.
Oh, 100%.
It's like, Diablo, wait, what the fuck's this?
Yeah.
A mobile game, which always comes off cheap and feels like a money grab. So as much as that doesn't have to be the case, I'm typically on that page as well. So
they're straight up something you put in as a filler in between other announcements.
Yeah,
that's what
100%.
a mobile game is.
Yeah, I agree. So we should probably watch this.
Yes.
It's only a minute long, and then we can discuss it even further, see if this is something that might change our minds. And when it comes to the Blizzard thing, I know you were kind of you were pretty staunch against supporting Blizzard even before a lot of the stuff came out about them. I definitely needed that to really make me on the same page. I am curious about now that they've gone under new management, or will be going under new management. Yeah, that's why I corrected what I said. I will be curious to see how they're ran at that point, but I'm hoping they can get their shit together, because I have been curious about Diablo 4, but I also don't want to support a company that does, or at least has a culture of pretty fucked up shit. So it doesn't feel right. So anyway, just putting that out there when it comes to how I feel about the people making this. All right, ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go. June 2nd. So right around the corner. Looks pretty clean. It kind of bothers me. It just looks like Diablo 3 though. Maybe it is just Diablo 3. There should be plenty of game to play on mobile. That'd be kind of neat, but at the same time, PC not so much. It is cool it's crossplay too. Of course, that makes sense, but I'm glad they're doing that because that just creates a bigger opportunity for community. Plus, I have to assume cross progression will be a factor. I'm just assuming that. Which would be cool for anybody who like me, when you're home, you like to play on a screen and you like the option of being able to play something on the go. That's typically how I am. I'm not a mobile gamer. But yeah. Hopefully that's the case. What do we think?
I mean, honestly, it looks exactly how I kind of expected it to look. So
Looks a little better than what I expected, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, especially when it came down to when like the UI and I'm not. This isn't a negative or a positive. It's just the nameplates above the characters look very mobile, and then obviously the interface is pretty much the only way you can do it on cell phones. So that's why I'm saying it's not a negative. It's just exactly what I was expecting it to look like. So, other than that, I mean, it looks like a Diablo title, which is cool. Obviously, the big question turns into when I start the game, the news screen flashes, and then you get into the game. How many menus are going to be on the homepage? And
That's a huge turn off for me.
How many places is it going to be incentivized to go buy X currency, and all this stuff? So, I no surprises, I guess, is my end takeaway from what we saw here. It's very short. Obviously, it's meant to be a teaser and sell a product.
Yeah. Overall, this doesn't really have me hyped. The potential has me interested. Real quick, I just wanted to pause right here to take a look at the UI. I'll try to describe this for anybody listening, but it looks pretty standard for a mobile game. So at the bottom right, you have what seems to be like the sticks to wait. What is that big thing? Because the left is to move.
It's probably where the person's thumb's at right now.
Oh, that would make sense. Okay, yeah. So bottom left, you have essentially where to move. I'm sure you can move that around. And then on the right side, looks like the attack button, items above the attack button. Left side seems to be menus. Yeah, it looks like quests, map, maybe notifications, which I don't like. I don't know what that's for. Some kind of scroll, maybe that's for lore or something like that. Quest log, maybe. It has a 3 on it, so it's counting. And it seems like you have 3 abilities above your action buttons. It's pretty simple. It's pretty clean for a mobile game, but also looks like a mobile UI. But like you kind of said, this is kind of like what we got now. For like this works, everybody's gonna do it. So, but I do like that it's pretty clean. It'll be good on my fucking on my foldable fucking screen because it's got real estate. And then they got a mini map in there, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, nothing new or revolutionary here, I guess. So anyway, what I was gonna say is the game looks good, looks clean. It looks like it'll be good on PC and mobile. On mobile for sure, it's gonna look a lot better than a lot of these games, I guess. But But I do have a lot of the concerns you kind of talked about, like, menus, what currencies am I going to get or have to grind for, what things are going to be timed daily or weekly or whatever.
Yeah.
What systems are they going to have in place that are going to make me have to leave and come back later or make sure I log back in. But other than that, it looks pretty much like Diablo 3, and I'm hoping it's not just Diablo 3. I hope it's not. I hope it's completely built from the ground up. Obviously off of Diablo 3's engine, it looks like, but new locations, new everything. I am seeing a lot of abilities from Diablo 3 as well. So, and in the prospect of playing Diablo 3 mobily, I think that's cool. But as a Diablo game, I mean, I'm more interested in Diablo 4 for sure. But again, what I was saying earlier, I like the prospect, the idea that I could play this on PC and somebody could play this on phone. We can play together. Or possibly I could be playing on PC, and then when I leave, I can continue playing my character on my phone, which I'm assuming they will do.
Yeah.
It only makes sense. It's all server based. And then when I get back home, I can play on my PC again. It's just if it's not that different than Diablo 3, I don't see a point in even doing that. And if it has all the shit you're concerned about, which I'm concerned about, I will dabble, I will try the game, and I will uninstall it quickly because the mobile experience is not ideal. It's not something I'm into, and it's a huge fucking turn off for me. There was a video. It looked like it was like a minute long. I was kind of curious about A-class intro. I don't want to watch intros. I just want to know what the fuck they were. Anyway, overall, it's looking interesting. I think at this point I would probably try it. I have no hype for this though. But June 2nd is right around the corner, and it seems like it's going to be. Do we know if it's free to play?
I'd be blown away if it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, if it was premium, then I could trust it a little more. But it's also a mobile game,
You
so
don't
they
sell
want
games on phones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Square does, but yeah, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I only play games on my phone that I've bought because I know it's just like that's the experience. I just bought it. Like
I have a couple games I've bought, but
yeah,
for the most part, I do play free to play games on phone.
Yeah. Bought Slay the Spire on my phone. Come back and we'll not talk about that version. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I gotta say on it. It's looking all right. I'm curious about it, but I'm not fucking super pumped on this. Yeah. Anything else? All right, let us know in the comments. What do you think of Diablo Immortal? Are you excited for it? You're not excited for it? Does this make up for the gaffe of don't you have phones? Well, are you going to play this on PC? Are you going to play this on your phone? Are you going to do a little bit of both? What do you think about the crossplay? And if you know, let me know if it's free to play or if it's a premium game. I'm sure it's going to be free to play. And what do you want from it? What are you hoping from it? And what info do you have that I don't that you could share with us in the comments below? Let's know what you're thinking about in the comments below. All right. Moving on. Speaking of Saber Interactive, the people who make World War Z, a game I really like, they're currently working on a new game that comes out soon, Evil Dead, the game. So we're going to watch this. This is via GameSpot. This is Evil Dead, the game, captures the horror and humor of chainsawing deadites. Apparently, a bunch of people got their hands on this like 4 days ago. I know IGN's got a video. I know GameSpot's got a video, Game Informer, all of these people. So if you're curious about this, make sure to go check it out. But from what I know from the early information that came out about this game, it is a 4v1 game similar to Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
Yeah, those. I mean, the people keep trying them. Some people have nailed it. Some people
Sure.
definitely haven't. The reason this game's interesting to me is because it's made by the people who made World War Z, and I think World War Z is really fucking good. I already talked about that, but I'm just going to emphasize that again. And the early footage of this game I saw, I was impressed with the graphics. I also thought it looked gameplay-wise kind of like World War Z, but also with the Dead by Daylight asymmetrical gameplay, I thought it's kind of interesting because in this you're going to be fighting, I guess, NPCs while you're trying to do missions, and then somebody's playing as the Deadite, going around like summoning things and like taking control of certain things. So they're trying to stop you while you're playing this essentially co-op experience.
Gotcha.
Which I think is an interesting premise, but I'm sure they will fill us in on that in this video. But pretty much just trying to say I already have a pretty good interest in this game. I think Evil Dead's fun as a series, and gameplay it really it works for me. So I'm hoping this is going to be cool. And yeah, Chevy, how do you feel about Evil Dead, and how do you feel about asymmetrical games?
I don't know anything about Evil Dead, and I don't play that style of game.
Yeah,
so.
perfect.
Yeah.
But at least we'll get your honest opinion on this.
Yeah.
Even if you're not into it, maybe you'll have something to offer you. I don't know. We'll find out. Ready to watch this?
Sure.
All right, this is 10 minutes, and we're going to find out about this game in 3, 2, 1, and go.
The thing that's always been fun about the Evil Dead franchise is its mixture of gory horror and over-the-top ass-kicking.
Oh, this is quite good. Good in the spot.
The demonic deadites that protagonist Ash faces can be terrifying, fully capable of taking over characters' bodies and ripping people apart. But Ash is a guy who has a boomstick in one hand and a prosthetic chainsaw in the place of the other. The fact that both the monsters and the humans who fight them are capable killers creates an interesting challenge for turning the franchise into an asymmetrical multiplayer horror game.
It was the first thing I thought when I
Evil
first
Dead:
saw
The
it. I was
Game.
like, this game
In a
looks
lot
really
of
good.
similar games, a group of players faces off against a single human opponent
a lot of
who
the same
plays
guy. That's
a lot of
frightfully
Ash, yeah.
powerful killer. The survivor team is mostly trying to flee and stay alive, while the killer player is hunting them down. Most of the time in Evil Dead, though, the humans don't just run away from the supernatural Kandarian demon and its undead army. They fight, slicing
I
off
think that's
deadite
going to be a really
heads
fun
and
factor of
spraying
this
monster guts
asymmetrical game.
all
It's
over
not
the
just
place.
running and hiding.
That
It's
fact
like you're
led
fighting a
Evil
bunch of
Dead: The
shit
Game
while they're trying to
developer
stop
Saber
you.
Interactive to
If it's
find
balanced
a different
well,
way
that's
to
where it's
balance
gonna really
its
come
game.
down to
It
if it's
still
good or
sees
not.
a group
I would
of
say
4
it seems like a
players
mix
facing
of-
off
of-
against a horror controlled
like
by a
your,
5th player. But both sides are active
no, I
in
forgot the
different
name of
ways and putting up a serious fight.
Dead by
We
Daylight
played about an
and,
hour of Evil Dead: The Game with the
almost
developers
like a-
recently and got a first-hand sense
like
of
a
how the
versus mode
game
like
is
the Left 4 Dead
balanced
or something
to
like that.
capture the
Yeah.
same feel of the movies and TV
Or World War
shows.
Z.
That the humans will kick deadite ass, and that the Kandarian demon is an ancient force of frightening power. For the humans, the goal of every battle in Evil Dead: The Game is to complete a series of objectives.
Even though this video
While
quality
the player
sucks, I still think
controlling
this
the
game looks
invisible,
like really
formless
good
Kandarian demon
what it is.
flies around
Yeah.
the level and tries to stop them or kill them along the way.
Yeah, no, it's got,
It gives the game
very-
a sort
very
of
clean
player
graphics.
versus environment versus player feel. There are various AI-controlled enemies scattered around Evil Dead's huge map that the human team has to deal with, while they also have to resist direct and indirect attacks from the demon player. A typical match goes like this. The human players start by quickly searching nearby buildings for loot in a way that's similar to Battle Royale and other multiplayer-only games.
That's cool.
Your goal is
It's
to gather
interesting.
melee and ranged weapons as well as
See, these are
healing
the
items.
ideas
And
Ubisoft
the gear you
should
find
be thinking
also
about.
has rarity levels that dictate how good
I'm not
it
going
is,
like
which
wall
makes
off
it a
socks
good idea
Battle
to
Royale.
keep
No,
looking
that's
around for
smart to throw that
upgrades
in
to
there.
keep yourself alive.
Yeah,
Once
just
you're looted up,
casually showing
you
off
have to start
nipple.
hunting objectives. First tracking down pieces of a map, then using that map to locate an item called the Kandarian Dagger. With the dagger in hand, you can use its power against boss enemies called the Dark Ones, located somewhere on the map. Defeating them gets you the iconic Necronomicon, which you then have to defend for a set period of time in order to win the match, while Deadites swarm in and attempt to destroy it and claim victory.
It's
for the
interesting
demon.
there's vehicles.
For the human team, there's a
Yeah.
lot to accomplish.
It almost kind of
Meanwhile,
like,
the
though
demon
this looks
player's job is to
way
kill, slow, and
more
distract.
polished.
However,
Kinda
while the
reminds me of
demon
that,
has access to an army of
Predator one we
deadites,
played a little
both the
bit.
random
Yeah.
ones
Where
that
there's
appear on the
objectives
map
to do.
and others they can summon on
yeah, someone
demand,
hunting you,
the
though. In
demon
this case,
is
obviously, the
at
person
something
just
of a
nonstop
power
hunts you.
disadvantage.
Yeah, it
Even
is
the
pretty
toughest
similar,
deadites
honestly.
can
It's
be
just being
pretty
made by a
easily
much more
beaten by the
competent
humans,
company.
particularly if they work together. So rather than just trying to overwhelm the human players, the better strategy is to harass them at key moments, set traps that can waylay them, and possess them directly to turn them against one another. At the start of the match,
interesting.
the demon player doesn't know where the humans are and has to track them down, following indicators when they make
Which
noise
reminds me of
by
Predator
firing
Hunting
weapons
Grounds, which is
or using
interesting.
vehicles. But the demon player does know the locations the humans will eventually reach in order to complete their objectives. So you fly around, gathering
you
up
can set up
infernal
stuff for
power
them.
from the environment that you can spend on summoning more deadites or leaving traps that you hope the humans will stumble into. Those traps create jump scares that don't directly hurt the other team, but increase each player's fear meter. When that meter is high enough, the humans become susceptible to being possessed. And that's when the demon player can really
I'm like
have it.
actually
So in a lot of
pretty
ways,
fucking
Evil
hyped
Dead
for this.
feels like two games rolled together.
Actually brought
For
a
the
lot of ideas
humans,
to
it's
the
a
table for it.
third-person action game that's all about coordination, planning, and ripping apart enemies.
This would be a
You'll
very
want to dodge
streamable
enemy
game.
attacks while tearing into
Yeah,
deadites
for
with
sure.
things like pickaxes and chainsaws, then using finishing moves to take them out with style. Staying together helps keep your fear down, as does stopping and lighting campfires or gathering by light sources.
Interesting.
But time is of the essence, so there's always the enticing possibility of splitting up to deal with different objectives more efficiently, even if it's dangerous. Meanwhile, the Kandarian demon player is almost more of a dungeon master in many cases, finding good spots to drop tougher enemies and traps to slow the other team down, and waiting for the perfect
balancing
moment
is
to
the only
strike
thing
with
that's
the
gonna ruin this
possession.
game.
When you possess
If
a
it's
deadite
not
or a
balanced
human,
well.
though, you're
Looks like they
suddenly
can't
thrown
keep
right
Dead by
into that
Daylight
third-person
balanced, so
action
I don't
game,
know.
doing your best to use a variety of
will
abilities
be
to
king,
slow
I
down or
think.
kill the humans.
For sure.
It's an interesting balance.
I also think
where
it has
both
a-
sides can feel extremely
It has NPC
powerful
enemies like
under
that,
the
so
right
it's got a little bit more going on
Four
than
humans
just like
can
being
chainsaw a
dependent on
deadite
one
boss down
guy
to
after
nothing
you.
Yeah.
without too much difficulty, but a single possessed human at the right moment and with the right weapons can best an entire team. It makes for a surprisingly fraught and strategic game that feels very different depending on what side you're playing. There's also a lot of subtle variation spread throughout that affects how you play and which
Yeah, I like
strategies
the idea
you
of the
employ. human
randomness
team's
to it.
roster is
Yeah.
populated by a number of characters from throughout the Evil Dead franchise, divided by their roles on the team. Leader characters buff teammates who are around them, hunters are good at ranged combat, support characters help keep others alive, and warriors excel at melee combat. All of the characters also have a
wonder what
unique
Josh
special ability,
I already know
which
what
do things
everybody
like
I would be
boost
playing
your
this game
attack
with
power
would be.
or lower your team's fear at key moments. Matching various special abilities and character roles to your playstyle and your group's needs make team composition an important consideration as you
cooler
start a
skills,
match.
too.
The demon also has similar strategic
Ew.
decisions to make, with the option of 3 different Deadite teams to use in a match, each with its own playstyle and boss character that can be occasionally summoned. The Warlord team focuses on buffing regular Deadites
guy
in combat and utilizing
wearing
a
half a
big,
t-shirt.
tough boss character.
That's it.
While the Puppeteer team puts its
fucking
focus on
gross.
possessions, and the Necromancer team provides you with the weaker but more plentiful skeleton army from Army of Darkness. And in addition to everything else you have to keep track of, there's also a race to level up your capabilities while the other team increases theirs. The humans can loot the environment to find bottles of
It's
a
interesting
drink
how
called
it
Pink
took
F
nods
that
from
allows them to
Battle
level up
Royale, but it's
various
not.
stats, like the strength of their melee attacks or their
there's a
overall
bunch of
health,
weird nods in
while
this
the
game.
demon player levels
like a
up by
MOBA where you're,
attacking
like,
the
leveling
humans
up
to
during a
increase
match.
the strength of
Yeah.
their deadites, boost their possession capabilities.
The combat
and
looks
amp up
dope
their
too. I think
boss
it looks really
characters.
good.
All the strategy involved
So
really
far,
helps Evil Dead feel like it gives you a lot of tools to win, with victory hinging on smart teamwork by the humans and clever attacks and distraction
making it more
by the
action,
demon.
too,
What's
is
most
going to,
satisfying, though,
entice
is
more
how
people.
Evil
Yeah,
Dead
same.
it all feels.
Because the amount of
The
people
human
I've tried to
team
get to
is
play Dead by
constantly
Daylight with
on
me when I
edge.
was playing it,
At
like
any time,
Cody
they
was
might open
down.
a
We
booby
played a
trap
lot of
loot
it,
chest
but
full of tiny
other people
ashes,
they're like,
or stumble
you
into
know,
a
'cause
jump
they're-
scare
it's a stealth
that
game.
blasts their screen with a gross
they're not in a
monster
stealth
face.
game, so I didn't want to fucking sneak around. Game like this,
But they're also
you
working
can play as
together
like a melee
to
dude, a support
absolutely
dude.
dismember any Deadites they come across.
ranged
the
guy.
demon player can possess a
just the
Deadite
person
or a
fucking
player
with
and
everybody.
turn
Yeah.
them into a deadly tool, but it can also troll the other team.
And they're also
taking
talking about how
over
you
a
can kind of
car
set
to
things
drive
up,
it in
kind of
the
like a
opposite
DM or
direction
whatever.
from an objective, or possessing a player and quickly wasting all their ammo.
I guess you could play
different
one of the
options match
Deadites
the
that are
feel
like
of the
more
various Evil Dead
aggressive, but then also
franchise
play ones a little more
entries, combining
strategic for
horror
people who
and
don't want to
humor.
like
Saber
have to depend
captures
on
that Evil Dead feel in a
like
variety
high
of
skill,
other
get in there
ways
and kill
as well,
people,
Right.
not
but
the
like
least of
give more
which is the
strategy.
extensive voice cast. Bruce Campbell reprises the role of Ash in not one,
He always
but
will.
4 iterations. One from each of the 3 core
doesn't seem
Evil
like the
Dead
type who
movies,
would
plus
turn
the
that
version
down.
of
He
the
just- yeah, he
characters
just keeps
seen
doing
in
it
the Star
forever,
Show,
like-
Ash vs. Evil Dead.
I think it's interesting. There's an Ash for every fucking class.
The game also brings in other actors to revisit their roles from
Well,
the
even
show
it seemed
and
like when they were
movies,
talking about the-
including Ellen Sandweiss
the
and Betsy
Possessor
Baker from the
team or
original
whatever,
Evil Dead,
that there was
and
different
Dana Di
categories for
Lorenzo
it
and
as
Ray
well,
Santiago
based off
from
different
Ash
movies,
vs.
too.
Evil Dead.
Yeah.
The game even adds a little more to the Evil Dead canon, expanding on backstory elements related to Raymond Nobi, the archaeologist who first came across the Necronomicon in the film stories. There's a story reason why all these Ashes and other characters from throughout time are fighting Deadites in the same place, and that story is delivered in single-player missions that are similar to the multiplayer matches you'll play in the game, but don't quite constitute a full-on single-player campaign. It's all in service of an Evil Dead experience that feels pretty similar to what fans might expect from watching the movies and TV show,
with some
while adding something new to the asymmetrical multiplayer horror genre.
Like possibly a
Our
challenge
time
mode
with
type
Evil
thing.
Dead, the game, was frantic and often pretty
Some of these
hilarious,
vehicles,
especially
like,
as
I
the
wouldn't
demon player
expect-
pulled unexpected tricks,
They barely
like
drove
possessing
anywhere.
a car and careening
possessed.
into our human team's Delta 88, completely flipping us over as we desperately tried to reach the final objective of the match before time ran out. It seems like Evil Dead is capturing what fans of the franchise like about it, while exploring new territory in asymmetrical horror by making everyone a bit more of a badass. It'll be interesting to see how the game fares with fans of the genre when it releases on May 13th.
There's the thing about it. It
on
seems like
PlayStation
whatever side
4,
you're playing
PS5,
on,
Xbox One,
like,
Xbox
you're not really
Series X
playing
and
as,
S,
like-
Nintendo Switch. and
I mean, of
PC.
course, if you're playing like the monster, you're gonna type of people who play those characters typically, or that role, typically enjoy the idea of fucking people over and, you know, getting everybody, and some of them have a god complex. But then, like, playing as people who are able to fight, shoot, and work together, or whatever, gives everybody that, like he said, that feeling of like badassness.
Yeah.
Like everybody is doing something. Which I think is a really cool formula for this. And honestly, in a genre that, like, I'm always kind of interested in, but half the time most of the games aren't that, like, you know, that great. This one actually seems like, unlike Ubisoft, fucking these guys got ideas. Not to bring them up again, but fucking, like, or even the people who made well, the Friday the 13th game was fun, even though it's janky as fuck, but the Predator game and now the Ghostbusters game they're working on, third time's the charm, hopefully. These guys are essentially dabbling in the same realm, and it seems like they're doing it a lot more confidently.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. I'd be something I would totally watch. I won't play it. But it does look like something that would be especially because of the nature of the random equipment and stuff like that. And the fact that the person versing you isn't just locked into a limited move set. They can set traps. They can be different units. They can be you once they scare you enough.
Yeah, it's crazy they can fucking summon people,
Yeah.
or, like, you know, take over them.
Yeah, I think they said earlier, if you spook them enough, you can possess the body. So
Yeah. Yeah, possess, not summon. What the
I
fuck I'm talking about.
I do think it's going to lead to a lot of different match types, which will help the longevity of the game. And I also think, if someone's streaming it, it makes the viewing experience a lot more fun
Yeah.
too, because it won't be stale. So.
Which is the amount of variables makes every match have opportunity to be different than the last one, which is really cool. Because it's something that, like, even in World War Z, I really appreciate is the random nature of, like Left 4 Dead, like the enemy placements, the, you know, more elite monsters, the items, med kits on the ground, all that kind of stuff makes every run through feel different. Like, oh, we're really getting fucked this time around, or, oh, this is a really good run.
Yeah.
Has the exact same principles, but in an asymmetric game where somebody's playing against you, but there isn't that pressure of, like, oh, we have to go find him, or he's finding us. Like, there's also, like, you know, NPCs and shit running around. I don't know. It seems like a really cool formula. Plus, it has skill trees, which is fucking sick.
Yeah, and then also it looks like polished compared to what these games usually look like. Like even Dead by Daylight, which I think is like a ton of fun to watch people play, is a little janky sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, and this just looks like it plays a lot smoother.
I remember, like, in 2020, I think it was because I was playing Dead by Daylight a lot in 2020. They had just started updating some of the animations in the game.
Yeah.
And they looked better, but they weren't that great. So that game's always been the concept first and visual second. Whereas this game does definitely have better visuals, better fidelity than you would expect from a game like this.
Yeah. I think they just added the Ring Girl.
Yeah. I stopped playing Dead by Daylight as soon as the K-pop guy showed up. I thought it was like super fucking lame.
I don't even think I've seen him.
He's just some like K-pop singer that's like a serial killer. It's like their own made-up idea, and he throws knives. And he was like OP for a while. They had to like rebalance him because he could like throw him like a machine gun. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you doing? Like, first off, the concept's not even fucking scary, and secondly, it's fucking lame.
Yeah.
That he just has like a bunch of fucking knives he can throw. But apparently, it's a lot better than it was. So
Yeah, I would
they just had to
assume so.
balance him out. But most of the like normal sized humanoid characters in that game are all like fucking. I hate going against them. So, and he was one of them. Whereas like the big, more monster type people are a lot more fun to go against. But that's a personal preference, and that's a different game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like not even like interested in this. I'm like actually legit pretty stoked to play this. It looks like a lot of fun. We already kind of touched on visually. It looks, much better than I would expect. It also seems feature rich. It feels like it has a lot going on. It has a lot of variability. I think playing games like this, I like to play on the team-based side the most. It looks like a lot of fun. But also the other side looks like a lot of fun too. I like the strategy. I like tower defense games. So the idea of like not knowing where they're at, but knowing where they're going and trying to set up for it, I think is a really cool thing.
It's definitely a little more than just hunting down.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you get really comfortable with the game, people are going to get like really. Hopefully, they'll have some kind of ranked system to make sure people who are like really fucking good aren't going against people who are like still trying to figure the game out.
I'd be so surprised if they didn't.
Well, it would be a huge mistake because Dead by Daylight has a really good, or has off and on had really good and really bad ranked in it, and you need it because some people are just way better than other people,
For sure.
and it can really ruin the experience. But yeah, and that whole idea of possessing people, I think it's really crazy because like I could see myself building up towards that, and then just if a guy's got a gun, take him over, start shooting people, and even if you're playing on the side where somebody can be possessed, having to communicate that in the moment of like, oh fuck, I'm possessed, or oh shit, fucking this guy is definitely possessed, doing crazy shit. I think is a really cool system that really. I don't know, man. This game just really feels like something they really thought about in terms of replayability.
Yeah.
Which really has me excited. Plus, the gameplay just looks fucking dope. I think the shooting looks satisfying, and I think the melee combat looks fucking cool as shit. So, the least interesting thing about this game, and it's not even a knock, is Evil Dead. I like Evil Dead. I don't love it, but if you're gonna make a game like this, that's just supposed to be fun. I think it's a good template to play with, especially in the sense that there's a fear meter, possession, all these crazy things. You can fucking possess a tree and hit shit with that, which I think is crazy. Anyway, I could keep talking about this. I'm actually really stoked to play this. I'll definitely be picking it up day one. Any more thoughts on it? All right, let us know in the comments what you guys think of Evil Dead the game. What do you think about the way they're doing it, the asymmetrical gameplay, being a Deadite versus 4 people, or being 4 people versus Deadites? What do you think about the variability of items, placement of vehicles, objectives, stuff like that? Is this a type of game that you would want to play? Even if it's not a game that you typically would want to play, does this one interest you at all, or does it not? And what would you want from a Evil Dead game if this is not what you're looking for? And yeah, you gonna play this? You're not gonna play this? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, it's that time again where we reflect on past episodes, look at my face doing weird things, and read your comments and reply to them. If you want your comment read for sure, type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment. Otherwise, I pick a random. We have only put out a couple of videos recently, so we got a pretty limited amount of comments, which is great. We'll be able to read them all. But in other instances where you have a bunch of comments, make sure to type in hashtag AskTLG. Otherwise, I pick it at random. Also, one thing I want to throw out there too, is probably a little late to be even throwing this out there. I've not been getting notifications for comments, so I have to manually check. So if it seems like I'm not replying to you, and it seems like a couple days, because I do make an effort to try and reply to everybody, it's because YouTube has stopped notifying me. So I have to manually look. Like, we have a Armored Core video. There's like 2,000 views now. It's like still getting views, which is crazy. And people keep commenting on it. And every once in a while I have to just go look at it to see that people are still talking on there, let alone our most recent videos. So, yeah, if you have a comment and I haven't responded to it, comment again and let me know what video it is, or I'll eventually find it. Hopefully, I guess I can look at the notification menu and see if, or options, and see if I can, I don't know, deactivate and activate or something. But yeah, it's just been a constant thing lately. It's been really annoying. So just letting you guys know what's going on with that. All right, so we did a TASTYCast, the last TASTYCast, which was 164, where we watched the Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal. We watched the Ashes of Creation character editor, and we talked about game releases in April. We got 2 comments. First one is from Aaron Moe, saying, about to get into some Escape from Tarkov. Been hearing some good things about it. I like the idea of being able to play it the way you want, even though it's one of the most unforgiving shooters out there right now. Haha. First off, yes, Tarkov is very unforgiving. I barely played it, but when I did play it, it was unforgiving. It's a fucking hardcore shooter. It's very much set up like a Hunt Showdown in the sense that, like, you can lose everything that you take with you. But you know that, Aaron, because I know you play Hunt. We should play sometime, and we should maybe play this sometime as well. But yeah, I'm actually surprised you haven't played it. By now you probably have, so let me know if you're watching this in the comments. What do you think of Tarkov? What do you think of it compared to Hunt? And also, thanks for sharing what you are playing or planning on playing, because that's something I ask a lot when we talk about what we're playing. I'm always like, what are you guys planning on playing? So you answered that, so I appreciate that. But yeah, let me know what you think of Tarkov, if you've played it by now. I'm definitely curious, because that's a game that's like, even though it's just a shooter, it's got kind of a steep learning curve. So it's definitely hardcore too, so it can chase people away. With how extreme it can be. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, it's out of my genre completely.
Yeah,
so
makes sense. Yeah. All right, well, thank you for the comment, Aaron, and let me know what you think of it. Let's see, we got Ego Border saying, I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan, so I could be wrong, but I think you have to play all the side games too in order to get the full story. I'm pretty sure that's the case, because I watched a video that was like a soft recap of like what the general story of the games are, and they literally go into every single side game, even mobile games, to get the full story. So they definitely set it up kind of like Disney has set up Star Wars now, where you have to interact with all the products they release for it to get the full story.
And super convoluted.
Super convoluted, and it is definitely a deterrent to anybody who, either doesn't have access to all those games or doesn't want to play all those games, but maybe just wants to play the mainline games. There's a lot of info that you're probably not getting there, so it's really, it's a lot. Let's put it that way.
It was a special time in Square's history.
Yeah, that they're still carrying forward, apparently, because you can't just let that die, which, why would you? Apparently, there's plenty of story to tell still with Kingdom Hearts, but at least since Kingdom Hearts 3, I don't know if we got any other side games, but I'm sure there maybe is a couple. But
I think there are some. I don't know if they're out yet,
but 4 is coming out pretty quickly after 3, so it seems like, that's what I was thinking, and at least that'll keep the story from 3 to 4 a little more tight, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much what you're saying is my biggest concern with the idea of jumping into Kingdom Hearts, because even if I enjoyed 1 or 2, I'm not going to play all those other games, so it's a lot of
I'd like to at some point, but it's not a priority.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, Ego Border, thank you for the comment, and thank you both for the comments. Thank you everybody who watched that episode. Got 207 views. That's fucking cool. All right. So I did a video about myself talking about the NVIDIA leaks. We had brought it up in that Tasty Cast that Kingdom Hearts 4 was on that list. And I was like, it'd be kind of fun to kind of revisit that list and see what has been confirmed, what hasn't been. And luckily, there is a list on Reddit that somebody regularly updates, even to this day. Of what is going on with the NVIDIA leak list. So if you want to see me go through that whole thing and give you my thoughts on pretty much every game on it, whether I think these are probably coming or not, make sure to watch that episode. It was a lot of fun kind of going through that and revisiting that. We had a comment from Scream Bleed Die Rot saying, where the fuck are the views? How come nobody's watching? You people need to subscribe and turn on notifications. What the fuck is... What the fuck is wrong with you? This is quality content. You're busy watching thotties twerking on OnlyFans. What the hell?
Flattering, thank you.
And I said he does this in the I haven't streamed in a while, but he used to come in the streams and be like, "What the fuck? Where's all the likes?" Like he just go nuts on people and shit. So I always appreciate it. I love your enthusiasm. I appreciate that you're looking out for us, and I mean, I agree. If you're watching this, hit the subscribe button. I'm not good at self-promotion. I just kind of do this for fun, so that's what we do. And luckily, we've built a small community in which you are a part of. But I appreciate the support for the quality content. I take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. But kind of like what I said when I replied to you, those thotties are twerking hard, man, and they might be worth it. I don't know. Maybe there's something to that. So yeah. But I definitely appreciate the support and the enthusiasm. Anything you want to add to that?
I'm just gonna echo the enthusiasm is very flattering, and I also I kind of agree with the sentiment with people being too busy watching thotties twerking on OnlyFans, because I can't fathom spending my time that way, I guess. So
and TikTok. Yeah, Scream Bleed Die Rot. You can come up with all sorts of these comments on every single video, and I would appreciate it. It's quite the task, but I like the way you you get to the people. So thank you for the comment, thank you for the support, and thank you everybody who watched that episode. And then recently I did a video on Outriders World Slayer Reveal, which is, they don't call it, but it seems like an expansion to Outriders, adding a whole new campaign, new locations, new gear, new ascension, perks, levels, all sorts of shit. They're adding a lot of stuff to this. And so make sure to check that out for all the details and my impressions. As somebody who did like Outriders, I know you wanted to play it.
I own it.
Yeah. So we should maybe put that on our Game of the Month list as well.
I think it's on there.
Well, maybe we'll pull it at some point, but hopefully after this comes out. That'd be it would kind of suck. It was like the month right before this comes out. Yeah, so check out that episode, and then we got a comment from Psycho Scream saying, I want to give this game a shot, but I don't know because it didn't sell itself to me when it launched, and it kind of isn't doing it here either. And then I said, yeah, I get it. Is it on Game Pass? Check it out. Or could check it out. Low investment there. I say I get it because I was the biggest critic of Outriders before it came out. I saw it. I talked shit about it. I thought it looked generic. I thought it looked like shit. All that stuff. I was like, I'm never going to fucking play this. It's another Square Enix game. That's just like a throwaway game. And then I played the like beta thing that happened. Really enjoyed myself. And then played the game, beat it, really enjoyed it. So anybody who has criticisms of this game, just like Godfall, anybody who looks at either of these games and goes like, well, I don't know if I want to play that. I'm like, I get it. But if you can, just check it out. See if you like it. I'm not saying you're going to love it, but it's better than you think it's going to be. And that's really the biggest sentiment I have towards Outriders for sure, is even though it might not be amazing to you, I guarantee it's better than you think it is. And I'll leave it there. So if it is on Game Pass still, hopefully it is, that would probably be the best route to go because you don't have to spend any money outside of the monthly fee. But if it's not on there, hopefully it's on sale at some point. But the thing I can guarantee is there's plenty of content in that game. Your money will not go wasted if you play it. The campaign's long as fuck, and there's a lot of shit to do. So, not in terms of variety of like quest types. There's side quests and shit, but like loot, gear, leveling up, all that stuff. And now with this, there's even more coming. So the game's definitely worth your time if you want a cool third-person cover shooter with magic. That's way better with people. The game's meant for co-op for sure. It's not as good by yourself. So yeah. Any thoughts? You haven't played it?
It was gifted to me, and I haven't touched it. So.
Were you? Did Josh give that to you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I was like, who fucking gifted that to you? Did you watch this at all?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen any of it? Okay. I was going to ask you what you thought of that, but guess I can't. So,
I'm just full of I don't knows today.
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's one of those days. All right, Psycho, thank you for the comment. And thank you, everybody who watched that episode. Let's get that episode to 100 views, and I'd appreciate it. And, yeah, check it out. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Oh, my God. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of TasteCast, episode 165. Holy shit, we're on our way to 200. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our streams and socials. Links down below. Check out our Discord, link down below as well. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. My name's Seth. This has been Chevy. Thank you for joining me, and thank you all for joining me. Until the next episode, have a good one, and take it easy.